Okay, so I don't like talking like a commercial, so, and I don't believe in exactly karma, because it just doesn't, it means nothing to put it all back exactly, how do I say it, done for done, especially when everyone was like do, and then they couldn't do anything, and then like some people who knew who probably didn't show up and all that kind of stuff. Just stuff like that just really just tease me off. So, and I'm not giving too much, what do you call it? Slack. I was just pushing it. I do that. And sometimes I like, in the fields like that Jacob climbs, I get bitter about it. Not like bitter at Jacob particularly, but I kind of like get that little thing, like fight it back, like already. Like do it now. Um, and maybe that's the only trait I carry over with my mom from my mom is that she kind of like will say anything just so that she knows that I'll just fight back right away, just to like see it actually happen or something or whatever, or just type thing. So, but that'll be good too for Jacob to use. Because a lot of people are pushed and it shouldn't be that pushy right now, you know what I mean. Okay, so I have a picture here, so I wanted to explain something. So you have an Ezekiel's wheel that looks like a Saturn. By the way, my car timing belt blew up at the gas station, and that sounds weird, but it just happened like out of nowhere. And it seemed like it was bizarre because like certain people walked in the gas station, like like how timey was it, um anyways, so there's Bani and Hashem, you know and so like one, I would say, just you need to pray, we need to pray for righteousness, and that's pretty much everyone actually, because I don't know if the justice is like making it more of like either the same evil done for that, or it's making it more harder on people that did. Okay, so for example, let's say something happened to you, the next thing you know, it's like you're the bad guy in a movie that was about what happened to you. You probably have a hard time, like, even though like that one movie I was talking about, there it's not like literally there. The actors are just, they look normal. They just look like they're wearing a bunch of makeup and paste, and like and then the other stuff actually comes out. You know what I mean? So they're actually not looking at that, but so it makes it easier, of course, to act, especially when it's not really there. But the plasma will testify that there was something there that almost looked that way, and somebody didn't have a feeling or anything towards it. So anyways, and that's not good, especially since when I talk about the three things that they used, and the fourth thing is a bad thing to do at all. That fourth thing in the blood is a bad thing that could come down like really bad on everybody. And then I think when I kind of went into that mysterious void afterwards about it, I was wearing a jacket called Why in the United States. Why did it happen in the United States? Okay. Then the next one is a little difficult. Okay, so you have people that have, it's not AIDS, it's not AIDS, it's not schizo. It's not anything like that. They literally have something from the 13 colonies. It's like colonii. And it was first witnessed in Rome with the guy. They couldn't figure out what was going on with him. And, okay, so Paul studied in Turkey, right? He was up there studying some stuff, and there's this thing, you know, like over here, like if your father was considered a good person and a lot of things were happening to you, and you're talking like your dad's like a really good person, you know your dad's good. I'm not saying, like, the last dream I had about this other guy, and it's not, I've met a couple people with colonial eye, but, like, they'd hurt their dad so that they could be the bad guy when it came necessary. Because they know that they think they'll go back to their father, who is good. You know? And then the fake one will kind of come up and say, oh, he's my son. I don't do that. I don't do that. I know what colonial eye is, and I kind of don't like it because eventually what happened with Jesus actually in the end gets used as a judgment for all sin, right? Because he is perfect. He was all good. There was no bad in him. So the mistake here, where Paul calls himself the worst sinner, was taking on a little bit of that philosophy, and he meets it more so with the first, like I want to call it the first real witness of what multiples in a colony eye actually looks like. Okay, and then there's Timothy that comes afterwards. So you're gonna end up going where he's like, he can't seem to get through, and Peter couldn't get through exactly with the colonial eye. He couldn't like exactly do it, even though they basically kicked him out and stuff like that. It started going like downhill. And so Paul, who believes in like ultimate grace and stuff like that, starts grabbing, he knows he's like half of like Jewish or something like that, so he grabs him and he calls him his son. He makes him walk through this whole pagan thing and keeps going and going and going and going and going, and eventually they killed Timothy. So now it goes to 1st and 2nd Peter, and then it jumps over to where later on, you know, even let's say people screaming at you for spilt milk, or for some reason you pick up this item, right, and you're looking at it and you just feel like something is really bad about it and you don't know exactly what it is. Things that they got so mean and vicious on that it actually was something created just because, or it was so rude and picky, or somebody starts throwing clothes at you and stuff like that, and you have no idea if it means something or doesn't, and then you start kind of deciphering it then, and it goes back to the 7 churches and Constantine, where like those certain places, you know, certain temples got really mean just to control one thing, you know. Alright, so, and then, okay, we have like, I'm going to show my little picture. So you have kind of like the hourglass, but then you have the, they call it the 3 king stars, or whatever you want to call it. One of them was like a little down or up the last time I checked, but anyways. Thus, and then last time I checked it, there was a light though inside there, so like a star. But here is the 6-pointed one, and this one was really far in and this one went far out. This one was a little bit in and this one went out. And this is what it kind of looks like. But, so this is the horizon. And actually it's perfect on camera because that's exactly how it looked, you know. So I was thinking, oh my God, Banny's going to take the fall for Hashem. But actually, you're supposed to turn it. Turn this like this, the horizon, and as it goes overhead, like that. And then when it meets on the other side, that's why people were saying, oh, the back of my head, the back of my head. You know, I turned or something, like they didn't see it. Or somebody who did see it, and like I kind of get mad because I'm like, how did these people know? You know, do they have colonial eye, or is it just that they were in a different country when it happened or something? I have no idea. How do they know, right? So someone goes, I got hit up the back of the head with a freaking vodka bottle, and I had no idea probably why, you know. And that's what I'm saying, like it turns, but it's not explained. It's not explained in Ezekiel. It just says that everyone should grab bags. Like, I'm going to circle how many times bags are in there, and I'm gonna be like, damn, you're talking like I need, from the amount of bags I should carry, I should have my own jet plane. Like, it's, you know, it's just not, I don't know. That part's not actually funny because it started moving people in a weird way, right? Think about it. Like, what should I do? I'm confused type thing. So, as I'm praying for the seeking of righteousness for Banny, and I'm praying for who probably should get more justice about it is Hashem, is right here. I'm praying for, like, I don't know, like a little guitar banji, or just like the grain, the wheat of Joash, you know, the wheat of Joash, for it, because I don't mind grain. It still comes from the father of Hashem. It's the grain, you know. And Ramoth Gilead, who actually suffered one of the worst astral pulls and came down to visit Azza because he was like, oh my God, he got rid of his grandmother for doing that. Disposed of her, not like killed her, but took away her position in that, which later in real time actually becomes like the selling of skins and eye color and all that kind of stuff. He was like, I'm gonna go visit this dude. And he was the only trade deal ever that happened, and it becomes the salt for St. Peter's, or for Vaticans or Catholics on their head. It becomes the salt. So, but the really interesting one, and why people can't, if they kind of go around it, was like the 13 colonies, colonial eye, when they get like that. Like, they just like, I have to protect the colony, but I don't want to see the actual offspring of my father. I need them to go like they are the grain, you know? So that's why a lot of people are like, well, why did people come down when there was Paul and Peter and they were having that fight with him? Why did people show up from other places? And maybe it was to protect himself and the, what do you call it, I want to call it colony. They probably had to leave, you know. They probably had to leave. That's probably what it was. But that is really, it's really bizarre. You know, it truly is bizarre. But it doesn't always end very well because, I mean, he's going to witness to the crucifixion of Jesus at the end. He still will. You know, anyone who's got colony or coloni, but that's still going to be the part where Jesus in the end actually judges humanity in fullness. So